Welcome to the Georgia Factor, where stature isn't a factor. And we are here to preview the Alabama-Georgia game. Like every week, we preview Georgia matchups every week. What was that? Is that the Tide? Oh no! No! That's good. You knew this was going to happen. Alabama and Georgia will rematch in a game of the century. I know a lot of you people are thinking that this game was a blowout at the beginning, and it was. But before I get into that, I would like to tell you guys to please subscribe to this channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and if I get to 1,000 subscribers, then I will promise I will be making more and more content for you guys, and throughout the off season, maybe even do a NCAA series on PlayStation 3, possibly college football video game series maybe. But enough of that, let me get into the preview. So Georgia and Alabama, these two teams faced off in the SEC championship game when Alabama got the best of Georgia, 41-24. Everybody remembers that. Stetson Bennett went 29 for 48, 340 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. They were not able to run the ball that effectively. Kenny Machinkosh, he was averaging 8 yards per carry. They should probably give him the ball more, but James Cook 3.5. Jameer White 3.9, not cutting it. What is the strengths of Alabama? Their passing game. And what is Georgia's weaknesses? Their secondary. I've already covered this. The matchup favors Alabama, but will it matter the second time around? That is the question. That is what everybody is thinking. Georgia opened as a 3 or 2.5 point favorite this time around. They were favored by 7 the first time, and Alabama blew them out. So why is the line 3.5? And I'll tell you, or 3 or 2.5. I'll tell you, it's because Vegas thinks that you can't beat a team twice. Even though in history, 60% of the time, the team that wins the first time wins the second time. It's proven. It's a fact. It's a statistical stat. But then again, you got Alabama, who played LSU and lost to them, and then beat them in the national championship. That happens. It happens a lot in football. But do I think that Kirby Smart can get this Georgia team ready to play an Alabama team that blew them out in an embarrassing fashion, where they were embarrassed and they took it out on Michigan, but Michigan wasn't very well matched up to play a Georgia team that could stop the run, and Michigan, all they do is run the ball. So I think that Alabama matches up still really good against Georgia, even though they have some key guys out, John Mechie, and some offensive linemen and some corners. But their corner issue isn't a problem. I think that they have the depth. So the injuries do affect the game, and it gives an advantage to Georgia. But I don't think it's as big of a factor as having Brian Robinson healthy. he wasn't really healthy in the Georgia game. I think having Brian Robinson healthy, even though Georgia can stop the run very effectively, if we look at the matchup, Brian Robinson had 55 yards, 3.4 yards per carry. Bryce Young, he was the difference maker on the ground. I think even though he only had 40 yards, it was enough to keep Georgia honest, But they were passing the ball super effectively in that game. And I think that Georgia is going to press a lot more in this game and maybe even give up some deep passes over the top more in this game just to contain the short throws and screens that Alabama runs, kind of like what Cincinnati did. But Cincinnati was not giving... I don't think Alabama was trying to throw the ball deep on Cincinnati because they knew that Cincinnati couldn't score, so they're playing pretty conservatively. So I think the 41-24 beatdown Alabama put on Georgia, it's an overreaction. I think this game's going to be a whole lot closer, but I do not think that Georgia is going to win this game. And a lot of things point to Alabama's wide receivers burning the Georgia secondary, and that's one of the things. But another thing is having a healthy Brian Robinson, like I said before. And a lot of people are going to say, well, Georgia is the best at stopping the run, and that is true. But if Brian Robinson can get 70 yards on the ground, getting 20 more yards than he did the first time around, and probably averaging 5 yards per carry, Alabama's going to win the game. Because if they can run the ball effectively, then they're going to win the game. If they can pop off 5 yards per carry with Brian Robinson, they're going to win the game. Simple as that. Bryce Young is probably going to throw for 350 in this game. He's not going to throw for 400 yards. Georgia's going to limit Bryce Young, but he's still going to get his numbers, just not to that prolific amount that he did the first time. So Bama's going to whoop Georgia's ass again. It's going to happen. So that's my prediction, and it's going to be a lower scoring game than the first round. So I'm going to go 30-27 Alabama. Crimson Tide. Bama's going to eat and feast on that Georgia secondary once again, and they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit. Just my prediction. Anyways, guys, if you enjoy this content and you like seeing this kind of stuff, please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.